Many of you may or may have not seen the movie 21, but if you haven't, a quick rundown is there's three MIT students and they get together with a professor and they learn how to count cards. And then in this movie, they make it seem like it's just this complicated formula. Like you need to know the ins and outs of calculus, or you need to know the ins and outs of trigonometry. But in reality, it's just basic math. So on the other side of it, I'm called Maxwell, and I'm gonna try and teach you the basic strategy of counting cards. Why you count cards? I would say you count cards to gain an advantage, because you walk into a casino blindly, you're gonna go in there and majority of the time you'll probably just lose your money. That's why the casino is a casino. They're always giving out free money, or they're always giving out free rooms, because they want people to go to the casino. Because a majority of the time you're gonna lose your money. That's just how it is. But from a gambler's mindset like me, I may have an addiction, but that's for another day. A gambler like me, I go in there, and if I can find a way to gain advantage over a casino, just even the slightest advantage, then it may make my experience more fun, more worthwhile. So this is why I'm teaching you to count cards. Formula. Super complicated formula. Calculus, trigonometry, you need. No, it's not it. Formula. So there's low cards, 2 through 6, and they're worth +1. There's neutral cards, your middle cards, 7, 8, 9, and they're worth 0. And then you have your value cards, your high cards, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. And those are worth -1. So the whole idea of card counting is to know when small cards are going to come out to lower your bet, or when high cards are going to come out to raise your bet. Because the idea of blackjack in 21 is to get as close as you can to 21. So if I were to show you this ace right here, it'd be worth -1 because it's a high card. So your running count, what they call the count when they first shuffle the deck and they start passing out cards, the very first card that comes out of the deck, that starts your running count. And you keep your running count all the way through until they shuffle again. So this is the first card that comes out of the deck. Boom, ace, -1. The very next card that comes out, they put on the table, will be a 6. So -1, this is a value card, and this is a low card. So -1 plus +1, because it's a low card, equals 0. Boom, running counts as 0. Next card that comes out, 7. With a 7, that's a neutral. 7, 8, 9, neutral. They equal 0. So if the count is 0, it was -1, then went +1, so it was 0, because they cancel out. Then you got a 7, that's 0, so that makes 0 again. So 0 plus 0 is 0. The very next card that comes out, boom, 9, 7, 8, 9. It's another middle card, it's another neutral card, so it is worth 0. You can keep going, 9 to be 0, and then you get to boom, 5. It's a low card. You run into a low card. This is 5, so it goes +1. So 0 plus 1 would be 1. Here you go. Another low card. That'll make it +2. You just add 1. You add 1 for low cards, and you subtract for high cards. That is the math. That is the basic strategy to counting cards. That's as easy as it gets. So where a little bit more math comes into play, so I was talking about the running count. The running count is all the cards that come out throughout the whole deck. That's going to be your running count. Your true count, so depends on how many decks you are playing with. So at the lowest blackjack table, like the least amount of decks that you can play with is a double deck. So that's as far as we're going to get today, is a double deck blackjack. So at the beginning of double deck blackjack, you want to start out and say the first 8 cards, which is unrealistic, but say the first 8 cards are low cards and they come out boom, 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 8. The count is +8 because the 8 low cards came out in a row. Well, the other flip side of the math The hard part of the math that comes into play is calculating the division. So if the running count is +8, and there's 2 decks left in the chute that you realize, okay, there's only been 8 cards that came out. So there's basically 2 decks left in the chute. Well, then your math comes into play and you're going to do 8, which is the running count, divided by how many decks you think are left in the chute, which is be 2 because there's only been 8 cards played. So it'd be 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So your true count will be +4. That's good. That means that high cards should be coming out. It, like I said, it's not 100%. It just gives you a slight advantage to know if high cards or low cards are coming out. I may go a little bit over, but just to end this real quick, everyone is capable of doing this. If you can do 8 divided by 2, or if you're playing in a 6 deck, you can do 20 divided by 4 or 20 divided by 5. Like, it's just, that's as hard as it gets. But you have to know when to do it, and you have to know how to do it. And I gave you the base layer, but that is how you count cards.